Hi everyone. So today we will solve this problem online stock span. So in this problem, we have to return the stock span for a particular stock price on a particular day. So let's see what is the span. So span of a stock price on one day is the maximum number of consecutive days for which the stock price was less than or equal to the price of that day. So suppose we can have many days, right? Suppose this is day number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and on day 4 the stock price was suppose 50. Okay, so the span is defined as the number of consecutive days. Okay, from 4 till 1, such that the value of the stock price on these days is smaller than 50 or equal to 50. So if we see in this example, the span for stock price on day 4 will be what? It will be 3, because the consecutive days for which the value of stock price is smaller than and equal to 50 is 1, 2, and 3, right? At day number 1, the stock price is 100, so we will not include it in the span, and after that there is no more day, right? So the stock span is 3, and the condition is that the days should be consecutive. Okay, so we have two functions, a stock spanner and next function. So stock spanner is just a constructor, so we don't need to implement it. And this next function is basically the function which will calculate the span. That is what we have to implement. So the input is the price, and with each price we have to return the span. So if you see in the input, the first is the stock spanner. So basically this is the constructor. We don't need to do anything. And then we have this next function is called with value 100. So for 100, the span will be 1. Why? Because there is no more value before 100 right now. For the next function call, value 80 is provided. Again, span will be 1. Why? Because the value before 80 is 100, which is greater than 80. Similarly, for 60, span will be 1. For 70, span is 2. How? So if we see these two values, 60 and 70, this is smaller than and equal to 70. So that's why we have span 2. Then we check for value 75. We can say that four values are there such that they are smaller than and equal to 75. So this is how we have to calculate the span. So let's look at the algorithm, how to solve this in linear complexity array, where we have to find the span for each stock price value. Okay. So the observation first of all we should make is that if we see the span for this value on this particular day is 4, right? From here, day number 3 till day number 6. Okay. And when we have to calculate span for this stock price 85, we will first compare it with stock price value at day number 6, which is 75. So it is smaller. So we will include 75 in span, right? This value will be included. These two values are already included now. Then we will compare with 5. Then we will compare with 4, then 3, then 2. And the span for 85 will be till day 2. Okay. Now one optimization which we can do over here is while comparing with day 6. Okay. The span is 4. That means 4 days before day 6 and including day 6 will have values smaller than or equal to 75. That means till here the value of stock price will be smaller than or equal to 75. So we should only compare day 7 and 6. Okay. And we should include this value 4 in the span of 85 directly. And then we should compare with value 2, not value at day number 2. So here what we did, we saved 3 comparisons. right? So this is the optimization which will be helping us, and we will be solving this algorithm using stack. Okay, so let's look at the algorithm. So we have a stack, and this stack contains two values per cell. So two values are, first one is the stock value and second one is the span value for that particular stock price. So when we receive value 100, stack is empty. So simply the span will be 1, right? Then we have 80. Similarly, for 80, span is 1. Then we have 60, right? For 60 also span will be 1, right? We will always compare with the top of the stack and see if the value is smaller than or equal to the current value or not. So which is not the case. Then for 70, we will first check with the top of the stack, which is 60. So 60 is smaller, so we will include this 1 in the span of 70. And then we will remove this element from the stack. Then we will compare the next top, which is 80. Condition of span will fail. So we will now push the current stock value, that is 70, and the span, which is 2. So span, whatever we calculate, it will always be one more. Why? Because we have to include the current day also in the span. Then the next value is 60. So nothing will happen. As we look at the top, we have a 70 value, which is greater than 60. So span will only be 1. Then for 75, when we see, again, we will look at the top. 60 is smaller, so we will include 1 in the span. Delete these elements. Now the top will be 70. Again, this is smaller, include in the span. And then when we come to 80, that is greater than 75, so we will stop. So span will be 2 plus 1 and 1 for this day, 6. So we have 4, right? So these values we will push in the stack. And also we should notice that whatever the values we are pushing, we have two values, stock value and the span. So while pushing, while once the value is pushed in the stack, we should return this value 4, 1, and 1, right? So that will be our answer basically. And at the end, we have 85. Again, we will compare with the top. Uh, this will be deleted. This will be deleted as the value is smaller than 85. So these two span will be included, which is 5 plus 1 for including the 7 for including the current day. And we have this 85, 6, and we will return 6 as the answer. All right, so this is the code. So we have to implement this next function. So we have this variable span, and this is the loop where we will check if the stack is empty or not. And if it is not empty, we will compare the topmost element stock value. And if it is smaller than the current price, which will be input, correct? So we will include the span of that particular stock for the current stock value, and then we will pop it from the stack. This process will keep on happening. And once this is done, we will have the span value and we will increment it by 1 because we have to include the current day also in the span. And once this is done, we will push the current price and the span with this stack and we will return the span value. Okay. And if we see the complexity of this algorithm is big of n. Why? If you notice, basically this next will be called n times for n stock prices. And the only operation which we are doing is either we are popping from the stack or we are pushing to the stack. So at max, each element will be pushed and popped from the stack, or we can say each element of this stock value will be processed 2 times or it will be touched 2 times. So we can say that the complexity will be big of 2n, but since constant, we do not consider any complexity. So complexity will be simply big of n. Okay. So I will share the link to this code. You can access it. And thanks for watching the video. Bye.